Try this again. Try and live stream this. Waiting to see whether or not the meeting is going to be streamed to Facebook efficiently and effectively, or rather to YouTube efficiently and effectively. Setting it up, redirecting to YouTube, and this seems okay. I think we seem to be okay. I'm going to right. Okay, chat. Hello. And I'm going to turn off the sound there. And welcome to Life Writing, Fire Dance. This is Steve Barnes. Lots been happening in the world, but from time to time I decide to go directly to, stream to you, to talk to you about things that seem to be important, especially applying the concepts from the new Magic Formula book. I finally got a book on it, which you can check out at www.realheroesjourney.com. But let's talk about this, and it has to do with life and the political season. And one of the most important tools in the Magic Formula, which is the three gates. Is it true? Is it kind? Is it useful? Let's talk about specifically honesty, and Simone Biles is going to come into this because I'm honest, so I have to connect that. The three gates puts is it true first. Okay, so does Musashi Miyamoto. He says, do not think dishonestly. And the most important question in philosophy overall there's two questions: what is true and who am I? So no matter where you go, the concept of being honest is very, very important. As a coach, I've noticed that optimists tend to remember their pasts better than they really were, with themselves more central and dynamic and positive. Pessimists tend to remember their past as worse than they actually were, with themselves more passive or negative. It's entirely possible that it's impossible for us to remember reality as it really is. It's a frequent thought that if we knew ourselves and told ourselves the truth about it, who and what we are, and if we knew the world and told ourselves the truth about that we would never take an unsuccessful action, never have a goal we couldn't achieve. Why? Because we wouldn't bother to set a goal that we knew we didn't have the capacity to reach. So it's reasonable to ask, what is a universal ambition among human beings? And if you conclude that would be to be, in alignment with animal behavior, psychology, and spiritual teachings, that universal goal would be to escape suffering, embrace joy, and be of service. And if it is reasonable to assume that the more clearly we see ourselves and the problem, the internal and the external world, the more efficient and effective our actions will be. And you can draw interesting conclusions about the degree of clarity, a nicer word for honesty perhaps, and the one used by Brendon Burchard in his High Performance Habits, they possess. Are they happy, healthy, successful? If and only if you apply this to yourself first, you will gain the clarity on the degree to which we distort and deceive, justify, and hallucinate. You will gain empathy. You realize this is what humans do. What's worse, it is what the world will encourage you to do. They will encourage you to lie. They care nothing for its impact on your life and spirit, often. Think of Simone Biles. She's the best of the best, with kinesthetic intellect that makes most human beings seem like morons in comparison. There is literally no way she could do what she does if she didn't have extreme knowledge of herself and her capacities, as well as the requirements of the judging committees and physics. In Tokyo, she knew she could not perform at the proper levels. But what happened? Think of how many people asked her to lie to herself. Ignore what you know to be true, they said. Ignore the risk of catastrophic injury. Dance, monkey, dance. Thank God she ignored them. She straightened out her twists and came back to beat the world. She told herself the truth and ignored the pressure to lie. This is one of the reasons I dislike politics. Politics is the art of driving action, not determining or respecting what is true. If you look at this, the difficulty of telling the truth, even if you know it, and the difficulty of determining what is true, or the difficulty of creating a consensus reality about what happened, what it means, how we use language, and on and on and on, it's obvious that the first and most rapid way we can lose our footing in life is right here. Is it true? Has to be the first step. But every single morning in meditation, I'm asking myself what is true about myself and the world and my interaction with it, going over as many memories as I can, asking if I could have remembered this wrong or that wrong. Was I as honest as I could be? And continually questioning these things. I've never had a perfect day yet. All I can do is commit and try. I could never be completely honest, have 100% knowledge of reality, or convince others of my perceptions, but I can try. In political seasons, because this is about creating large coalitions, you'll see egos on full display, as well as the use of persuasive language that focuses on how can we win more than what is true. If you think this is confined to politicians, you may not know yourself or human beings as well as you think. If you think that only human beings lie, you've never had a dog or cat act innocent after a piece of food goes missing. What are the three gates applied to the political arena? I've talked about this before, and I came up with a pattern. First step, love yourself. This gives you the courage to look deeply into who and what you are and tell the truth. 2, love one other person. Truly seeing the depths of your partner, believing they're doing the best they can, will teach you all the ways we lie to ourselves and others. How often do you have to correct them from catastrophic thinking? How often do they have to correct you? How often do the two of you disagree about what happened in a particular instance? Get the joke and move on. This is what we are. 3, understand history and humanity without guilt, blame, or shame. Most of us just trying to move away from suffering, embrace joy, and offer service. Actually, most of us are just trying to escape suffering. And yet we lie to ourselves and others, distort and omit and append. It is a miracle we get it right as often as we do. 4, avoid sleepers and snakes. Nurture your tribe. Especially in politicized times, people will ignore elephants in their own backyard, but blame you for the mice in yours. This is human. We excuse and justify those we love more than those we don't know or dislike. The question isn't going to be, does this or that statement pass the 3 gates, as much as, does this person generally pass the 3 gates? Everyone will have a different standard for this, a different sense of how often do they have to make a distorted, mistaken, or dishonest statement, and how badly distorted does that statement have to be before I conclude their map is simply wrong, or that they are simply a liar, that they lie more than they tell the truth. As long as you can have any standards for this you want, as long as you apply the same standards universally, not excusing the beam in your own eye while screaming at the mote in your adversaries. If you can do that, you're being as honest as we can be. 5, win with integrity and compassion. Remember that we all do this. There's a damn good reason why is it true is the first challenge. It's hard, terribly hard, no matter how hard you try. But it is hugely worthwhile. But begin with love and seeing yourself in the rest of humanity. Look at yourself, the lies you tell and have told, the errors you made, and the evidence you ignored because you went for short-term gain. How many of us have dated some really attractive person and ignored all the signals because we were attracted? Always, always, everything you did was to try to escape suffering and increase joy. When you begin to see how hard it is, how common the coping mechanism and how plastic human memory is, you change, and your understanding of humanity changes. You have more compassion. We're all just doing the best we can. Whatever standards you decide upon, be sure you apply them to yourself first, and especially in an election season. Watch the distortions fly. realizing that in a very real sense, politics is war continued by other means, and that the first casualty of war is truth. The problem is not politicians. The problem is in the mirror. That's all I wanted to say today. I hope you can have a wonderful day. And once again, if you'd like to take a deeper dive into how the three gates and the philosophies encoded within the magic formula might affect your life, just, you can get a copy of the beta version of the first book on the subject, The Magic Formula, Earning Your Black Belt in Life, at www.realheroesjourney.com.